Okay, today what we're going to do is we are going to show you how to do building offsets, interaction sounds, and shaders. So I'm covering 3 items in one tutorial here. And it's all pretty much just to get you to know how the engine can quickly come together and add life to a level. But these are all 3 smaller items, so they're really easy to go over. So what I've done, I'm just going to switch over to my screen capture now for you. And what you can see is that I'm going to zoom out here. I've pre-set up this level. And this is the second time I'm recording this today because what's happened is I had a driver update and my microphone wasn't working. So OBS Studio didn't pick it up and I had to set it up again. So lovely me, I had uploaded all this and done this whole thing and now I'm doing it for a second time. But that should make it go faster. So what I've done is I've set up this area. I've got a zone here. I've got this zoomed in zone. I've got a starting zone, which I've applied here. Sorry, my kitty is wanting some attention from me, just scratching on my chair. And so the beach start zone is the starting area in this area. There, and then in this other zoomed in zone, what I've got is I've basically got just on exit. Oh, is it on enter? On enter, basically we just go here, scale the camera to 1.25. So basically just zooms in the camera a bit so you can get that sense of motion. I like using camera motion, zooming in and zooming out, sometimes going from one place to another. I like doing that to kind of help move the story along and just kind of put life into the game so it's not all static from one area. I like doing that a lot, and I did a tutorial on how to set that up, so I don't really need to show you here. You can go back and watch that. But I just wanted to quickly touch on that. That's what I've set up. Now there is an issue. These boxes only work on the first run of it, even though some interactions have been reset and fixed as a bug where they would run every time you hit the play button. That doesn't seem to be working for the zoom ins right now. It's a pretty simple fix. I'm sure Martin will fix it in the next one, especially if he watches this video, but I'm also going to report it as a bug to him. There's also another bug when it comes to the shaders right now, where if you put a shader in a level, you can't reload it. It won't let you reload it without crashing. That's in with the latest version. But by the time this is out and everybody watches it, within a day or two, Martin's probably going to have that fixed as well. So, because I also reported that and sent the bug report to him. So without further ado, we'll get on to this here. So I'm just going to zoom in a bit, and I'm going to push the mouse button down and move over to this building here. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to set up the cat interaction. So I need to select objects. Not make the mistake of being in areas and create a new area of the of the start zone of the zoomed in. But I'm going to select the cat. So what I want it to do is when you click on the cat, or when you get within clickable range of the cat, your mouse cursor changes, pardon me, and a sound will play when you click on the cat. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go here to the cat is selected. So what I'm going to do here is, I believe that it is under engine. I want to, do I have an interaction cursor? Yeah, sorry, under settings, I want to go to interaction cursor, and I'm just going to move it to the loot cursor, so that it just looks different from the everyday pointer cursor. Then I'm going to close that setting down. Now you can go in here and you can actually make the game logic, make the cat wander around or do whatever. I'm leaving him stationary because I just want to walk up and click on him. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go to on interact actions. I am going to add a new action, not a set variable. I'm going to expand that. And on the type, I'm just going to scroll down, click on play sound. Now, hit browse, and on that, the default browse button brings you up to this RGP01 data. My stuff's not there. It's in my cryptid force. So I want to go RGPTools, cryptid force, data, then audio, sound effects. Now there's a lot in here, but I'm going to scroll down to the M's because there it is. It is a cat's meow sound. So now I've assigned that. So that should work when I walk up and touch the cat. Okay, now the second thing that I'm going to show you, I'm going to hit save. The second thing I'm going to show you is the offset on the you know what, I'll show you the shaders first. So as you can see, the trees aren't moving here, and neither is the grass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this tree, then under shaders, I'm going to go down here, and I am going to choose a fragment shader. There's two types, there's fragment and there's vertex. So I am going to browse on the fragment shader, and again it goes to RGP1 data, so I need to browse back into my cryptid force, into my data, into my shaders folder. So now there's two grass folders in here. I've created the second grass fragment, and we'll get to that in a minute. But if I scroll down, there's two trees. I didn't create these are defaults. There's trees and trees 2. Trees 1 is for like coniferous trees or deciduous trees or palm trees where they're slightly swaying and adding motion in the air. So that's the one I want. Trees 2 is an inverted version. So it's for like willow trees with like hanging willow branches that come down, or for trees with vines that hang down, and you want those vines and things to move lower down closer to the ground rather than the tops of the trees. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to click on trees, and I'm going to hit open, and you can see now on the screen that tree is slightly moving. And I'm going to do that for this one as well. Browse. It's back to RGP1, and I don't know why it does this, but it does this for every time you browse for anything. So I got to go back here, back into the folder of the game that I'm actually working with, back into assets, back into, oh, sorry, not assets. Sorry, I meant data, shaders, scroll down, trees, hit open. There we go. Now those trees are moving. So now what I want to do is I want to select, because I put the trees on the object level and I put the flowers on the ground level, I'm going to select the background level. And now I'm going to select a red bush, a red flower. And I'm going to just zoom in a little bit here for this one, just so you can see it. I'm going to just center by holding down the mouse wheel and dragging. So now you can see again, I've got shaders available. So I'm going to go browse, and on the fragment shader, what I want to do is I'm just going to choose grass to show you the default. Oh wait, again, RGP1, I almost made a mistake there. Cryptid force, data, shaders, grass, open. And you can see this is moving quite a bit. Now what it's got is it's got a heavy shader force, and it's got a heavy speed, a speed of 10. So it's moving, bouncing pretty hard, which doesn't line up with the shader force here. Now you could go in and change the shader for the trees and make your own, or you could edit and change the shaders for these. So I'm going to show you on this yellow one up here. I made one. Now it's not quite perfect, but it is. I've slowed it down, and I've cut the force back to 1, and I've cut the speed back to, I think I cut it back to 3 or 2 or something like that. So I'm going to browse. Again, it wants to go here by default, so I need to go back into mine, into my data, into my shaders, and I'm going to choose this grass 2. I copied grass 1 and made grass 2, and I edited the values. And you can see it's not perfect. I need to do some more tweaking on it, but it's definitely, the force isn't as springy, and it's moving much slower. So I'd want to do some trial and error on that to get it kind of moving at the same speed as the trees, or move the trees up if I want this to be like a windy area. But you can see the difference between the two, and I just wanted to show you that so you could see what was going on there. And now what I want to do here is I'm just bringing up my RGPTools, Encrypted Force, Data, Shaders, and I just want to open my grass 2 so that you can see what I've changed. So what I've done is I've set my uniform float speed to 2. I've set I haven't set the bend factor. I've left it alone. I could set it down so it bends less if I wanted to. That might be the springy. But I've moved this float strength down to 1. This was 10 in the other example, and I believe this was 3 for the float strength. So you can actually change those. And there's comments down here to let you know what each one does, right? So the offset is equal to speed times time, and it's a sign factor. So just a basic shader stuff. But these are the things you can change up here. So you change those 3 items. You can make that like a 0.1 or a 0.2. You could put that down to maybe a 0.5 if you wanted to, or leave it at a 1. You can make that float speed as a 1. You could change all those things. I'm not changing anything else here. I'm just leaving it alone. But I wanted to show you where you could edit that and just save it out. Make sure to make a copy before you save that. And so now the other thing that I wanted to show you was the offset. But I'm going to have to show you that in game. And what's going to happen is that the zoom area is going to stop working after the first time. It doesn't reset with the play button. As I said before, the developer made it so that interaction options will reset each time you play it, but currently area actions don't seem to reset for some reason. It's a bug. I'm not sure why. Maybe it will happen every time and reoccur. I don't know. I'm going to just take a quick look at that. So on enter logic and scale camera. I don't have anything repeating. There doesn't seem to be anything to repeat here. Maybe there's a repeat here. Yes. Yeah, that might fix it. So it might work every time now. I might have just needed to fix that. All right. Perfect. So we'll see how that works. File, save. And we're just going to give this a test run now and show you those things in action. Remember, hold down shift if you want to move fast. So you can see those shaders at work. And you can see them at work on the trees. And you can also make slight changes to the tree ones. Like you can change the offset by like just a tiny bit so that they're not exactly lined up together. If you want it to be like a little variance in the wind, you can do all that. There's the zoom in. You can see it zoomed in just to bring focus more into the area we walked into. Come up by the mouse, or sorry, the cat. Now you can see that my cursor changes. So when I'm over here, there's that interaction cursor. So the one thing that I find is that the interaction cursor tends to be in a bigger area than the object, unless you've got a larger object. It tends to be more the size of the image. So for instance, if this cat in the image only takes up 128 pixels, but yet the frame out is like a 256, then the whole 256 area is set as the interaction area. It would be nice if in the future the developer could add interaction area, and maybe you could draw a bounding box or like put a block down or a few blocks down that are the actual interaction area, kind of like you can block out for a passable zone. Something like that would be great. But however, I'm just going to walk forward a little more just so it looks more real. And I'm going to click on the cat, and in theory, you should be able to hear this sound. So I hit several times. There is a meowing sound coming out. I'm not sure if that's going to turn up in the gameplay or not, but we shall see. So now I'm going to show you the default offset action. So the default offset action is by the bottom of the image. It is based, I believe, on the Y coordinate, and the offset is in pixels. So right now the default, you could see the character looks pretty good here, but he disappears right there. So, which is great because then he's going to walk out from underneath the building there, and that's what we want. And in this whole front section, it's pretty awesome because, oh, except for when I get to that corner, because I'm up by the default and it now cuts underneath. But you can adjust that with the offset. That's for tweaking larger objects. For smaller objects, it works great. But as soon as you get into buildings, you can see here again, my character is offset. Right? So I'm going to show you how to fix that. So I'm going to make sure I'm on the object layer. And I'm going to select the house. And what we're going to do is we're going to come down here under advanced. And we've got this sort offset. And so this allows you to fix that offset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple extremes and then set it kind of where it should be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it to 500 and file, save, and play. And now we're going to run back up here again to the house. Zoom in worked because I clicked on the repeat. So it definitely wasn't a bug. It was just I did not click on the repeat. So, but now you'll see that I'm underneath the house entirely, the whole way. So because I've added 500 to it, I don't come out of that house until somewhere way up here. Like I'm underneath it the whole way. So how we fix that, I'm going to show you the other extreme. I'm going to go minus 500. Now this image, I believe, is a 1024. There's my zoom in again to bring focus to the area I'm walking into. And now you can say I could walk all the way up over this building the whole way. I don't disappear behind it at all. And I think I do right at the end here or something. Maybe. No, not even. So you can see that's gone the other extreme. So now I'm walking over the whole thing. So that lets you know how that works. So what I want to do is I want to meet somewhere in the middle. So what I'm going to do is I know the number because I already did this video once before, but you would play around with different numbers to see where you want to sit. So this one, I'm going to sit it at about 230. Sorry. Minus 230. And now when I walk up here, you'll see that this whole way I'm in front of it. If I come around here to this side, I'm underneath it. If I come out the back here, I'm underneath it until I walk out from it. And if I come down here, I'm underneath that overhang, but I'm in front of this wall. So that's how you use the offset. Now, the other thing, of course, you use is you come here to path. And, oh, I didn't want to do that. All right. All right, so what I want to do is I want to make sure I can't come here. because I don't want to go too far over the roof line, right? Now you can also change the size of this. You can actually change the shape and the size of these path tools. Probably want to be more like that, right? I don't want to walk into those, but it doesn't really matter as much here. I'm just creating a zone so that you can't walk into the middle of the house from this side. There we go. And then I can go down here and I can actually make this, instead of being 2, well, I can make it 1. And now I've got taller, narrower. Make it 1. I just want 1 block. Right there. Right there. Right there. Right there. Yeah, there you go. Good enough. Alright. File. Save. And back to objects again. Play. And we'll show you how that works. Now then, I'm bumping up against that block. So I'm a little bit high there. I'm a little bit high. I should add another single block down there. Let's see here. Same thing. Should have but you can see I can't move any more forward. Come under the east trough here. Blocked up against there. So those could have been lower down on my placing, right? But you get the idea. So there you have it. You know how to use offsets. You know how to set shaders on trees and grass. And you know how to add interaction sounds for objects on the game map. So, and you also know how, I reviewed it, I showed it in another video, but you also know how to use a zoom feature and make it repeat so that when you walk in and out of an area, the camera will actually change focus depending on which direction you're going or what area of the map you're going into, which helps tell the story. So I hope this one helped you. I'm not sure what I'm going to cover in the next one. There's a couple of little bugs in the software right now, but I believe Martin will fix those because he just did a big full rewrite and there was bound to be a bunch of bugs. There's actually fewer than I expected to find, but he cleaned up a whole bunch of the logic, cleaned up a bunch of the code. He did clean out a few libraries that I would have liked him to have kept for certain things, but hopefully I can convince him to add at least one of those back in. But the software is coming along great, and as I'm learning it, I'm sharing these tutorials with you, and I hope that you get something out of it. So have a great day, and we will see you in the next one.